Welcome, everybody. It's summer and it's time to increase sales. I'm Chaz Horn. I'm the founder of Mastery of B2B Sales, and we're going to dive in today how to use LinkedIn without sending endless messages to grow your business. So grab a pen, take notes, and I'll give you an opportunity afterwards to communicate with me more if you have additional questions. So when I first got into sales a long time ago, over 25 years ago, I was the worst, the absolute worst salesperson in my mind in the world. At the company I worked for, I was 119 out of 119 salespeople, dead last. I had zero, nada sales. And my boss became my mentor, Ken Upton. He had me over for dinner one night. And after dinner, he pulled me into the den with the fireplace, student listening to his teacher as he got my attention with 3 words. Chaz, you can be. Now that stood out to me because I never thought I had much potential. I never had people in my life telling me that you can be this. You have potential to accomplish this. So those 3 words stood out. They actually changed my life. He followed those 3 words with the top salesperson in the company. But you have to follow the system. You have to follow the process because it's proven. Chaz, we have spent hundreds of hours developing a system and process. If you follow it and execute on what you learn, you will be the top salesperson in the company. So the next day I got out, I followed the system, I followed the process. 45 days later, I became not number 1, but number 3, the number 3 salesperson in the company. And I took that lesson about system and process through my entire life, through working for different companies and for when I started my business, the importance of having a system and process that's in place, that's proven so you can follow it. Today, I am going to walk through a system that's proven. And if you follow it, you will get results. So get ready to take notes. All right. So I am going to share my screen. All right. Oop. Wrong button. There we go. All right. So what I'm going to talk about today is, let me get to the first slide. My apologies. Okay. So I talked about 119 out of 119 salespeople, and then a proven system and process that worked. That helped me in that job and the following jobs either be the top salesperson or near the top in all the companies I worked with until I started my business in 2016. But the system and process I learned was all about sales. It had limitations. It had little to zero leverage. And I want you to focus on leverage because leverage is the way that you garner the attention of multiple people in your target audience. Right now, I'm speaking to multiple people in my target audience, and that gives leverage. And I'm going to address your main need and want. How do I know what your main need and want are? Because you wouldn't be here if you had a predictable process to identify and attract prospects to you and convert those into clients. And that's what I'm going to discuss today. When I started my business, I was understanding marketing a little bit. This is back in 2016, but I didn't fully grasp the power of marketing. And by the way, let's define marketing because so many people confuse this or give convoluted definitions of marketing. This is what marketing is. You ready? Marketing before I give you the definition, you have to know and understand your target audience's main need and want. If you don't know that, you can't speak to them, okay? Marketing is about building confidence in your prospect's mind about you and your solution, your service, your product, whatever it is that you provide. Confidence in you, your product, service, solution can solve their problem. They start to see you as an authority. When I understood marketing, it just made everything else so much more seamless. Because I'm a sales guy, and sales guys typically are the worst marketers. Now, I've learned, and I've spent lots of hours learning marketing, and it's changed my life and the life of my clients. When I first started my business in 2016, I was doing a demographic search. Demographic meaning, here, I'm going to work with a founder in this size company, in this industry, in this geographic area. Sounds great, right? Yay! But really important, 3% of people you find, whether you're using ZoomInfo, Apollo.io, or all these other sources to get demographic contact information, 3% of those people are ready to make buying decisions, okay? Not a very high percentage. I was able to develop a six-figure business within the first year because it was massive on taking action. And back then, I used Sales Navigator. If you don't know what Sales Navigator is, it's a premium LinkedIn subscription that gives you access to demographics, a lot of other things too. And I would connect based on my demographic. And after connecting, I used the law of reciprocity, and then I would ask a question and get a survey, and they would respond, and I would get qualified meetings. Six-figure business 12 months later. But it was a lot of work, 100 connection requests a day. That's what I was doing. It was working, but man, that got tiring after a while. I had no leverage. Then I thought about, instead of going people one-on-one, how about if I start doing events? And when I do events, I can have many people in my target audience. It's not based on demographics, it's based on psychographics, which I'll explain more in a second. And this is how I have leverage. I would speak to their need, and I would give them a solution that would solve their problem so that they would have confidence in me and their solution being able to solve their problem. Make sense? Okay. Really important about events, 79% of marketers generate sales through events. 79%. Additionally, 85% of these marketers also agree that events lead to an increase in lead generation. Makes sense, right? Obvious. In sales. Therefore, events not only generate sales, but also have the most potential to generate more sales over time. That's from Event Industry Statistics in 2023. Zippia. So this is a model, and you have the white lettering and you have the black lettering. The black lettering is one of my iterations before I came to the white iteration, if I can speak English here. I used to be real big on commenting and content and direct messages and search LEO. What's LEO? LinkedIn engine optimization. You heard of search engine optimization? Well, it's the same thing, but contained within the LinkedIn platform. Connection requests and a ton of other things. I was all over the place. I had a system and process that worked, and it helped me, it helped my clients get to six figures. But there was more. Again, what was I lacking? Leverage. This is where events came to play. And in the process, with what I did previously, it was leverage, positioning, conversion. When you have leverage in positioning, it will lead to conversions. When you have content out there, like post on LinkedIn in the context of what we're talking about today, and you have it going out consistently, and it's speaking to the need and want of your target audience, and it's in such a way that's inspirational, entertaining, and educational, you'll get their attention if it's done well. And after they see this for some time, where do they go? they go to your profile. So the content provides leverage because it's like, wow, okay, this Chaz, Sally, John, Sue, whoever it is, I'm going to check out their profile to learn more about them. This is where you see Samonday. So leverage drives people to your profile. Your profile is where you're positioning. I have a whole training on this. I'm not going to get into this today, but I'll just give you a very high level understanding of positioning on LinkedIn. Your profile needs to speak their specific need and want in such a way that it solves their problem and sets you up as an authority, okay? It's in alignment with your content. And most people, I did a survey a few years back, over 1,100 profiles that I surveyed, 95% of them were not positioned correctly, okay? If you want to get information about how to position your profile, reach out to me, Chaz Horn on LinkedIn, okay? Now, as my iterations went from messages to content to events, things shifted dramatically. Not only was I having leverage on one or two people, I was gaining the attention, very important. When I say attention, the most important commodity in 2023 and beyond is people's time and attention. People have less than a goldfish attention span. This is a study back in 2017. Now, I don't know how they determined the goldfish's attention span was 7 or 9 seconds. I forget what it was. But the goldfish's attention or squirrel was squirrel. What the goldfish's squirrel moment was, I don't know. But somehow they were able to make a scientific study. The important part that you need to know is that people's time and attention, you need to get their attention, you need to keep their attention. If you don't do that, you're not going to have leverage. And there's no better way than LinkedIn events. LinkedIn events, when you have an event set up, you get people's attention, you keep people's attention, and you have a call to action, which moves them from event to meeting to client. My clients have a simple process. It's a short, a brief meeting, initial call, which qualifies them, and then a discovery call, which they name each meeting because it's important to have a name for the meeting so there's value in your prospect's mind. Now, these are for high ticket offers. When I say high ticket offer, I'm talking about $4,000 and above, $4,000 to $50,000. Two-step process. My clients follow this process. It reduces their sales cycle by 50% and increases their closing percentage by 21%, okay? So what I want to talk about is tabs, because if you are not these 5 things, tabs, if you do not have these in alignment within sales process and marketing strategy, if they're not in alignment with one another, if you're not identifying and attracting prospects to you for qualified meetings and then converting qualified meetings into clients, I guarantee it's going to be one or more of these 5 areas. Guarantee it, okay? TABS is TTABS, as you can see, and it's about tactic, technique, attitude, behavior, and strategy. Let me dive into this so I can explain these on a little bit deeper level. So a tactic is what you do. Having a LinkedIn live event is a tactic. A cold call is a tactic, okay? So you could have good tactics, you could have bad tactics, but there's much more. Remember, we still have TABS to go through. Sun Tzu, who wrote Art of War, military genius, said this about tactics. He said, tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. He also has something else to say about strategy. We'll get to that in a second. So tactic in and of itself is, it needs more. And I was doing a tactic previously with a demographic search. By the way, tactics are easy to duplicate. So I was doing a demographic search on Sales Navigator, sending out 100 connection requests. And then I had a 3-message law of reciprocity and survey, which converted. This is back in 2016 and 17. That tactic does not work today. And you know what? Everyone started doing that. So I've moved on, I've learned and improved, and you should be changing and improving, and you're here today, which is a good sign of that. So you got to have the right tactic, okay? As I said, it's easy to duplicate. And I talked about Sales Navigator. It's easy for other people to do. Technique, how you do what you do. Let me give you an example that you could probably relate to. Have you been in a retail store? Put your hand up. I can see you. Have you been in a retail store? If you walk into a retail store, now it's changed a little bit since 2020, but if you walk into a retail store, typically, if there's a sales clerk there, they'll walk up to you and they'll say what? Welcome to blank, the name of the establishment. How can I help you? Okay. That's not a technique. Let me show you how it can be a technique. Okay. That's just a tactic. Now, imagine this. By the way, you probably respond to that with what? Just looking. Okay. 9 times out of 10, when I ask people that, that's how they respond. Yeah, I'm just looking, which is a lie. You just lied to that poor sales clerk. Why did you lie to that sales clerk? Because you don't want to be sold. You will buy, and your prospects will buy as long as you make it that it's safe for them and comfortable, and they see you as an authority, and they see that you could potentially solve their problem. Remember marketing? Getting confidence in your prospect's mind about you and your solution being able to solve their problem. Now, let's just imagine this sales clerk had some training and understood technique. Remember, technique is how you do what you do. It has a lot to do with body language and tonality. 3 ways we communicate. The words, 3% influence. Okay, only 3% the words we use. 33% are the tone of the words that we use. This gets into technique. And 55% is based on our body language. So technique is about having the right body language and the right tone. So imagine this sales clerk walks up to you. You walk into her retail establishment and she sees you. She understands emotional intelligence because she's done some training and she understands the core. She understands her target audience. She understands her customers that are coming in the door because she's been helped. They've done a study with the psychographics of their prospects, and they understand they don't want to be sold. And so now with some training, check this out. She walks up to you and she says, welcome to blank. I'm sure you're here just looking. Smile. She just took that, or he just took that out of your mouth. And she follows up with, would you be against me showing you how I can save you 39%? That's the average I save our customers. Now, are you going to respond differently to that? Yes. So she's using a tactic with going for no. This is all based on Chris Voss's, if you know Chris Voss, he's big on going negative, or there's a whole book on this. If you go for no, people are more likely to say yes. Are you against? Okay. If you ask for a no question, people are more likely to respond. Are you against showing me how I can save you up to 39%? People will respond to that. That's the power of technique. Okay. Attitude, your perspective, your mindset, your attitude, your perspective, your mindset, all the same thing. I used attitude because it flows nicely in my acronym. If I used mindset, it would be TTABS. That doesn't. It's about keeping tabs on why things aren't working so you can fix it quickly. Okay? All right. So you have to have the right attitude. Think about this. You have TTBS, and then you have the spoke in the middle that supports the wheel. That's your attitude. Nothing happens well with having the right attitude. You can have an attitude that keeps you stuck in mediocrity, or you can have an attitude that is a springboard that takes you into your potential. It's all based on your perspective. Your behaviors. Think about tactics. How many times you have the right tactic, and so you do a certain amount of these tactics, the behaviors. If I do 20 of these behaviors, 20 of these activities, these tasks, of this tactic, I will schedule a certain amount of meetings and onboard a certain amount of clients. So you have to have the right number, know what that number is, so that you can schedule that and you follow through, and then you can keep the data. And if something isn't working, you say, oh, I'm not doing enough behaviors. Okay. So it's the behaviors that you do that move the needle. Sun Tzu, remember I was talking about strategy and Sun Tzu about tactic? He said tactic is without strategy is a noise before defeat. Now on strategy, he said this. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. You need both of those, and they need to be in alignment with one another. So as I'm working through TABS, and by the way, TABS is for on LinkedIn, it's off LinkedIn, it's how I grew my business, it's how I grew sales. It used to just be TAB, then I added one of the T's. That was the tactic. I was based on technique, attitude, behavior, because of the sales mindset. And then the tactic and the strategy is what I added. And that's where you bring marketing. And when you have marketing and sales in alignment with each other, it's a dynamic duel, okay, when they're congruent with one another. So here I am going to leverage and back to the events. And LinkedIn events is one of the best ways, the simplest ways to build an audience within your target market so you can speak to them about their need, their want. You can solve it so they see you as an authority, so they have confidence that you and your solution can solve their problem, okay? So the tactic is LinkedIn events. Technique, the copy, meaning how you promote the words that you put together within the post, within the event promotion that gets people's attention. My copy, wording, and tone. If I have videos that are talking about that, remember 3% words, 33% tone, okay? And 55% body language. This is how you influence people. It's the body language, it's the tone, the words you use, they're important, but it's only 3%, okay? Now within copy, we can go on a whole different subject about that. Now the attitude, I'm going into this event, and you should go into these events or in any conversation with the attitude that I'm here to serve someone. I'm here to help them. The first intention or the first step in my sales process and the foundation for my marketing strategy is intention. It's not fluff. It's rock solid, scientific way to reach people. If you reach people based on sincerity and humility and truly want to help them. And by the way, you can't serve your prospect at the highest level if they don't what? They become your client. So that's how you have to think about this. Go in with the right attitude that you're going to serve them. It takes the pressure off you. Behavior. So we talked about I'm going to do a certain number of these. And if I do a certain number of these, I'll have a certain number of qualified meetings and a certain amount of clients. Right now, my clients are scheduling one event per week on LinkedIn. I'm going to show you how to promote it. I'm going to give you everything you need. Okay. One event a week to fill their calendar with qualified prospects. I hate using the word leads because everyone defines leads differently. A qualified prospect is this. They're in your target market. They're a decision maker. You're speaking to a problem they have and you're solving it. You're building confidence in their mind, and they told you about a problem they have that you can help with. That's a qualified prospect, okay? Strategy. Remember strategy, what it is? Okay, I'm going to cause you to think about this for a second. Leverage LinkedIn events. Strategy is about building confidence in your prospect's mind about you, in your solution, being able to solve their problem. Okay, so now you're leveraging the events. You're having a bunch of people in your target market showing up for the event. All right. Are you getting sweaty thinking about this? This is what you want. Forget the one-on-one. You want to go individual to group, and not just any group, but a group of people who are in your target market. Building confidence in their minds so they see you as being able to solve their problem. They're seeing you as the authority. Okay, that's a key distinction, so important in 2023 and beyond. So LinkedIn events. Let's jump through this so I can talk about this. The Girl Scout. I'm going to share a quick story about a Girl Scout so I think you can understand the power of leverage and positioning. And within events, it gives you the leverage and positioning, okay? This Girl Scout broke the Girl Scout cookie record. Now, hang with me, okay? This pertains to you. This isn't just about Girl Scout cookies. This is about understanding leverage and positioning. When you have leverage and positioning, it leads to conversion, meaning you have new clients. So this Girl Scout wasn't like your typical Girl Scout, going door to door, door to door. Who answers their door anymore? If someone knocks on my door, rings my doorbell, it's like, who is this? Who's here? Looking out the window, right? You may be the same way. Most people I talk to are these days. Lives, our culture has changed with people knocking or coming to your front door. Why is someone bothering me? So this Girl Scout didn't go door to door. By the way, business people, salespeople, a lot of times that's what they're doing. They're reaching out one by one based on a demographic search. Remember, 3% already make buying decisions. There's no leverage there. You spend a ton of effort, you get little results, and you're exhausted, and your attitude goes in the tube, in the tank. So this Girl Scout understood the main need and want. Remember, that's important. If you don't know the need and want of your target audience, how can you speak to them, right? I have an entire exercise I take my clients through when they first become my clients to get clarity there. Every time they go through this, like, wow, Chaz, this is so helpful. With clarity comes confidence. So she understood her target audience's not need. We're talking about Girl Scout cookies, right? Wants. And so she didn't just go to a heavy traffic area, right? Like a demographic search. There's a lot of people here. She went where she saw her target audience, and she knew with the right positioning, they would see her cookies and they would start buying them. She broke the Girl Scout cookie record. She positioned herself outside of a cannabis dispensary. I'll allow you to think about that for a second. People came out and were buying multiple boxes, 117 boxes of Girl Scout cookies sold in an hour. Okay. Now I'm not endorsing cannabis or anything like that. The point is, when you are positioned in such a way, you will attract the right prospects to you like a magnet. Okay. Now, events on LinkedIn, you've got 4 types. You have the standard, which is LinkedIn Live video. You have audio events, which I'm favoring right now. And you have the virtual Zooms where people schedule and they go to a Zoom meeting. Okay. And then you have in-person. You can promote an in-person event or any of these events through the event page, which I'll get to here in a second. So think about this. Remember we talked about the Girl Scout, not like a typical Girl Scout, hanging out in front of a grocery store where most of the people are buying cookies. And just because of the Girl Scout brand, which you don't have and I don't have, they'll buy a box of cookies every once in a while. So think about this. Not one-on-one, going where everyone else is going, a demographic search and sending out a bunch of messages or putting out a bunch of content. You get exhausted doing that. Okay. So you have one lake of people. And by the way, just do the opposite of what everyone else is doing and you'll be eons ahead. Okay. Seriously. So you have one lake of people. It's hot. It's sweaty. They're fishing with bait that doesn't attract anything. Their lines are getting tangled with everyone else because it's crowded in this one lake. You go to your own lake by yourself. The fish, by the way, are your prospects, your target audience. And it's not just before based on demographics with a lot of people there, everyone doing that because it's like, hey, send out a direct message, put out some content. It's about having an event in your own private lake where you have the right bait and you're attracting prospects to you. Okay. One is crowded. It's going to be frustrated. It's a lot of activity and a lot of actions. The other one is, yes, you need to have a skill set at a different level, which I can help you with, but it's your lake with your people, your target audience, and it's your bait that's hooking them. And if you do this consistently, you'll predictably schedule qualified meetings and onboard clients. So let me talk about 3 simple ways to build an audience for lives. Because a lot of people say, Chaz, that sounds great. How do I build an audience? I'm glad you asked. So here's 3 easy ways to do that. So you have your profile, okay? So your profile, as you see, I bought this domain. And by the way, if you sign up on this domain, b2bclientsnow.com, and next to your name, put TTABS, I have a special treat for you. And I'll give you a copy of the slides. If you go to b2bclientsnow.com, it's a landing page. And I have it set up so when people come to my, remember, leverage, positioning, conversion, your profile. So when people come to my profile, join my 2 times per week strategy session, live Q&A, LinkedIn audio event. I get a number of people who visit my profile. And when they visit my profile, guess what? They register for the events. So that's a simple way to do that. And I show this with my clients. If people are going to your profile, leverage your profile to get people's attention and get them into the event. All right. Second way, polls. Polls are one of the best ways to gather information, and also you can understand who's in your target audience and who isn't. Remember I talked about demographic and psychographics? We're going to go to psychographics. Not psycho, by the way. We don't want any psychos in our lives, right? Psychographic is, yes, they're in your demographic, but they're putting their hand up and say, hey, I have a need and a want based on what you're going to discuss. And I'll show you that here in a second. All right. So, okay. It's not going right to my profile. Hold on. We have technological a problem here. Let me try it again now that I'm signed in. Okay. So here is the poll. And it was a simple poll. Simple polls are the best, meaning less than 8 words. Okay. So LinkedIn is where I blank. Waste too much time? Kind of a fun answer. Grow my business? Hope to grow my business. Now, I help people grow their business on and off LinkedIn. So out of these, 44% selected hope to grow my business. So all these people, and as I'm looking through here, I can see founder. I can see, here's another, actually, I can see a number of my clients here that came from polls. These are people that are saying, I hope to grow my business. Do you understand? You catch what I'm throwing down? I just generated a prospect list of not demographics, but psychographic. 45, I think out of the 45, 35 of these are in my target audience. So I just created a psychographic prospect list based on, I hope to grow my business on LinkedIn. That means they're not, okay? You can use this poll template for whatever you do in your industry. And by the way, I also have my link here. Links on the polls, it doesn't suppress the reach. I mean, just on this poll alone, I had 3648 impressions. Does that make sense? Okay. So you have your poll. Then you have your event page. LinkedIn makes it so easy to promote your event. So on the event, okay, you don't have the button here. There is because this is a past event from February. But you see 131 people registered. You can invite directly from here. There's an invite button that appears here. You can invite 1,000 people a week. You heard me correct. You can invite 1,000 people per week. I mean, if 1,000 people this week, 1,000 people next week. Now, the important point is you have to have 1,000 connections. And if you don't have 1,000 connections, reach out to me. I'll show you how to get 1,000 connections and many more, right? And here's something cool. Everybody who joins the event, they can invite 1,000. They can invite 1,000 people. You understand how that compounds, okay? So it's very easy to fill the event. Through profile, through poll, the profile, the domain, I have it connected to the link. It's always changed in the background when I have a new link. So these are 3 simple ways to build an audience. And if you do this, you'll have a minimum, if you do it right and you just follow the steps, you have a minimum of 15 people showing up for your first event. minimum. Most of my clients get nervous because they don't want too many. Well, Chaz, I don't want to send out too many invites. This is my first event. If you do it right, it's more like 25 people minimum showing up to your event, okay? And from there, it just goes up and up and up. All right. So growing prospect list with polls. Let me show you something. So I'm showing you how to get a psychographic search. All these people here are people that took my poll. I reached out to them, and sure, an invite would be greatly appreciated. So I send him my link, and he registers, and I do here's something else I'm just going to throw in. With my clients, when we send a pre-event message, the attendance rate goes up over 50%. One of my clients, she had very few, she had around 20, her first event. With the pre-message, she went up to 56 just in 1 week. So I'm sending pre-message. But all these people here are people who have responded to the poll. These are all psychographic. And by the way, I use hashtags in my messages, so I can easily do a search. If you see hashtag QL qualified lead. And so if I do a search with hashtag QL, all these people are qualified leads. This is a psychographic prospect list. Makes sense? So you're doing your poll, they're responding. If you're not connected, it gives you a reason to connect. A very high percentage of those, it's not like you're just connecting to try to spam someone. They took a poll. They said, I need help. A very high percentage of these people will want the link and show up, okay? And if they don't show up, you're still connected with them and you know they need help. And so you'll have a chance to invite them to another event moving forward. So psychographic versus demographic. I touched on this a little bit. Let me go in, and this will show you on the event page, okay? You see here? So, this is the event. This is okay. This is a past event, so it's not gonna go to. I can't show you the invites here, but that's not why I came here. That was something I just wanted to show you. So with all these people, so you have over 174 people here. I'm one of them, so 173 people here. If you click on this, these people have gone to the event. Again, demographic versus psychographic. I'm inviting them, the poll. There's also, like, when you create an event, a post goes out in the regular feed. So that's in addition to the three things I showed you. Now, these people that are registered, if they're in my, like, founder, I know this guy's a business owner, trusted advisor, probably business owner. All of these people, and you can see there's page after page after page of these people. Founder, this guy's a consultant in my target audience. So all of these people you have access to, you just created a psychographic prospect list. If they're in your target market and they accepted the invite or they saw the post promoting the event and they registered, they're moving from demographic to psychographic. By the way, demographic, again, 3% are ready to make buying decisions. Psychographic, it's up to 10 times higher than that. Okay, makes sense? You with me? All right. So you're creating a psychographic prospect list, meaning they have a need and a want that you can solve, as opposed to demographic. Yeah, they're in the industry, in the size company, and they're a founder in their geographic area, but 3%. Okay, so that means 97% of those are not looking to make buying decisions. All right. So you have an event, you schedule the event. Now what? This is all encompassing. All right, it's all encompassing. So I had a mentor. His name is Russ. I'm not going to tell you his last name. You probably would know his name or know of him if I use his last name. And he said, Chaz, just give people enough information. If you give them too much information, they'll take the information and they'll never reach out to you. That's baloney. if you don't give people enough information for them to realize that you are an authority, if they don't have confidence in you and your solution being able to solve their problem, they'll move on down the road. That talk is outdated and antiquated, coming up on like about 10 years now. What you do on LinkedIn events, and typically with my clients, I have them doing a half-hour audio event. And by the way, if you want I can show you how to repurpose the audio event to make it a LinkedIn Live. Reach out to me. Remember, Chaz Horn, reach out to me and I'll show you how to do that. That will be an extra gift I give to you. An inch wide and a mile deep, meaning you're going to speak about one specific area and how you help, and you're going to go deep. That way, they understand that you are the authority. They begin to have confidence in you and your solution being able to solve their problem. Inch wide, mile deep, half an hour. And in audio events, you can have a Q&A session there. A lot of my clients get nervous because that's a different skill set. And so I start them off with monologuing, meaning it's just them talking, and they hold the attention of the people that are there because I show them what to say. They show them how to say it. So that you don't have video on audio events, so the tonality is so important. Remember, technique, tactic, strategy. All right. So audio versus video. I like audio. I do both of those. I repurpose my audio, and then I will do a LinkedIn Live, which is a video. And it's a pretty cool process. Just last week, I had 100 and close to 200 people register for my event. And I repurpose that because I record video like this when I do the audio event. And then I will have a person who works on that. And then I'll repurpose it as a LinkedIn Live. And my LinkedIn Live, I have the Thursday event talking about Chat, GPT, and AI and how to use those to grow sales. And then on Sunday, I repurposed that same event, but I added video. And I had 1,733 impressions. I had over 500 people view that broadcast, and I didn't even promote it, okay? So right now, I use the video to repurpose my audio events, if that makes sense. So create a lake, an event, and start fishing with the right bait. Real important. Let me just take you through some things as I'm going to conclude. Here's some of my clients that I worked with, and like Holly right here. I knew one thing I did not want to do was to lead with selling. Chaz's program does a great job of laying out a simple, repeatable process that actually led to multiple clients for me in a short period of time. It's awesome. This is why I do what I do. Remember Ken Upton helped me see potential in myself? My why is to help you, help my clients see their potential and help them realize it. Nothing gives me more professional joy than that. Mark Firth, back then he was starting a business when he started with me. Today he has $1 million business. But 3 weeks in, Roland Chaz, and given that we work in the results-based industry, I can endorse. He had. Hold on a second. Let me slow down. Started getting results in 3 weeks. That's when he onboarded his first client. And as I said, he was starting his business then. Now he has a $1 million business. John here, able to get 4 leads within a week after starting. That's just 7 days, 4 leads. And he used the word leads, but again, qualified prospects. Target market decision maker, see you as an authority, told you about a problem they have, okay? Now, Rex, spoiler alert, I paid back my investment 5 times over before I finished coaching with Chaz. And let me just show you something real quick. Rex also said, after 16 weeks later, right here, 10-time ROI, 16 leads. It was a 5 ROI at 10 weeks. So, and if you go to my LinkedIn profile, by the way, you can see all these recommendations. They're real people who are my clients, who I helped get their business to the next level, help predictably identify and attract clients to them. Okay. So if you would like to connect with me, go to, it's real easy, B2B, as you can see here on the screen, business to business, this B, the number 2, B, clients now. You want to get B2Bclientsnow.com. If you go there, put in your name and next to your name, put TTABS, and I will send you the slides. Also, that will register you for one of my live events. I do a live event on Tuesday, which is all about LinkedIn strategy, sales process, again, inch wide, mile deep. And on Thursday, I talk about ChatGPT and AI and how to use AI resources to grow sales. All right. So let me get this, stop the screen share. It's been an honor for me to talk with you today. And I hope you reach out to me. I'd be honored to have a conversation with you. As I said, my why is to help you see your potential, not just see, but realize it. So go to B2Bclientsnow.com, register, put tabs. I'll send you the slides, and I can also go into a little bit more detail on some of the things I said as far as giving you additional gifts. Thank you so much for joining me. As I always say, go rock this day. That's the modern day version of Carpe Diem. Seize the day. You've got this.